Happy Tuesday. I am so glad that you're here. Today, I want to give you a little bit more encouragement. I want to talk about how God very rarely will give us the whole picture when we ask for His wisdom or His guidance, or we ask Him to lead us with our purpose, with our calling, with our destiny in most areas of our lives. I used to. I used to not like that very much. I used to want the whole picture. That had to go along with me just wanting to be in control. And I wanted to be in control because I didn't want to have any surprises, and I didn't want to have any I didn't want to be taken by surprise by anything major. So it was kind of, for me, when I was trying to live in control, I was trying to um, um, minimize the fear that I felt through the circumstances that I found myself in. But as I look back and I reflect on different times in my life when God has only shown me what He wants me to see, He hasn't shown me that next step until I've gotten through the season that He has me in. I am so grateful. And so I just want to talk a little bit about that today. And I want to, I pray that you find encouragement from that as well. So in 2013 or 14, I don't remember the exact date, but sometime back then, I had been, or maybe it was 2016. Anyway, it was right around then. I had started writing. I had dipped my foot in the river of writing in 2000, end of 2010, or end of 2011. And so I had been writing. I had been putting out a blog 2 times a week. I had been writing devotionals. I had been, God had told me at that time that He did not want me writing nonfiction. Or fiction. He only wanted me writing nonfiction. And so I chose to be obedient with that. I never knew if I would get fiction back or not. But I was willing to obey. And so in 2014, 2015, somewhere around in there, God told me to stop everything, except I could still write my blogs twice a week. That was all. Everything else needed to stop. Nothing more on my website, no more book reviews, nothing. And at the time, I was really resistant. So first I was resistant, then I was scared, then I was still resistant. So it was in April of that year that He told me to stop. And I did stop, but I worried the whole time. I didn't let myself relax. I didn't let myself enjoy that season of rest, that hiatus. I didn't let myself just rest in the trust that even if God never gave writing back to me, that what He chose to give me instead would be just as fulfilling, just as much of a blessing. Instead, I worried and I stewed and I thought, oh no, I'm just starting and I have to be done and blah, blah, blah. Well, anyway, so from April to October, I had that attitude, and I'm not proud of it. I have confessed it, and not a highlight in my life. By October of that year, I finally gave up. I finally surrendered, and I said, you know what, Lord? I said, I trust You. I don't know what this is going to look like. I don't know why You told me to stop writing, except that I have a very busy season in my life. So I think it's for my good, but I'm still scared because I may never get it back, but it's all Yours. So if You don't ever give it back to me, then I know You're going to give me something better. And so from October to December, I truly rested. I truly enjoyed that break and that time off. And looking back on it now, knowing that not only did He give me back my writing, but He also gave me fiction writing. And since then, I have written one whole series, The Redemption of Green Pines. I've written 7 short stories to go with that 6-book series. And I'm in the process of writing another 3-book series of Christian fiction. I'm writing another Bible study to complement the Sisters in Christ Bible study. So needless to say, and then in the meantime, I've also started the YouTube channel. I've started a podcast with Kara R. Hunt. I'm the co-host. I've done speaking engagements. So to say that the ministry has taken off and I've been busy would be an understatement. So looking back now, I know that it was a faith test. And for the first 6 months, I failed. And I am I am more disappointed in myself, I think, than God is even disappointed in me, because I could have had 8 full months of rest, and instead I spent 6 of those months worrying. And I got October, November, and December. So I guess I spent 7 months worrying, October or April through September, and then October through December, I got the rest that he wanted to give me for 8 full months. So, so that then leads me into the next one. So the next time that he told me to rest, I was able to listen to him a little bit more. I was actually very, very grateful. This was a few years ago, in 2022, and I had kind of reached a point of burnout physically. My body needed to rest. It was mandatory. It wasn't a question anymore, and it wasn't a suggestion. It was mandatory. And so I remember taking that summer, and I didn't take the whole year off. I just basically took most of the well, I took the summer off, and then I think I gradually got back into things in the wintertime, or the fall and the winter. But I remember just sitting on my deck and just reading, and just letting God heal me physically. Like, during that time period, I was zero creative. Like, nothing came to me. So of course the worry and the anxiety came back, and I'm like, well, am I ever going to have another creative thought again? Am I ever going to be able to encourage people again with different things that you highlight to me, Lord? Am I ever? Am I ever? And I know now, looking back on it, that he purposefully stopped that part of my brain, and he stopped that part of my creative process, because he knows me so much better than I know myself, that if he had allowed those creative juices to keep going, I would have never rested. I would have sat there in the chair out on my deck, but I would have been writing furiously down all these ideas, and then I would have had to figure out where to put them, so that when I went to write them, that I would remember where they were. And for me, the way that I work and the way that God works in me, um, I don't just like write something down and then forget about it. I stew on it. And by stewing on it, I mean I mull it over and over in my mind until God like brings it to a complete thought. So there would have been no resting of my mind during that season if he had kept that going. I would have just gotten exhausted, and I wouldn't have been able to rest fully like I needed to. So I didn't panic during that time, but I did wonder, God, are you ever going to turn that back on? And when I was done with that resting period, it was after that resting period, after that time of grief, when both my father-in-law and mother-in-law went home to be with the Lord. And grieving is a full-time job. Like, whether you are actively grieving or whether you are living life and grieving is in the background, grief is an active or is a full-time job. And so it took a while before um, I was rested enough that the creative juices came back. But when they did, God not only blessed me with this 3-book fiction series that I'm writing now, but it has a potential to become three-book fiction series, which would be, they would all tie in together. So it would end up being 9 books altogether. Instead of the 6 books that I had the first time, this could potentially be 9 books with 3 different series broken down. And the way that God has worked the different twists and turns and the subplots and so forth, I never would have been able to come up with that on my own, number one. And number two, I wouldn't have had the creative power without resting and letting my brain get in tip-top shape, to be able to get all the details worked out so that it is an enjoyable story and not just like one of those choose your adventure books where, you can go this way, you can go this way, but it doesn't work together. They don't flow, and it doesn't all come together at the end the way that it should, in a neatly wrapped up bow. So my encouragement for you today is not so much that you walk through the different times in my life when God has given me a faith test, but it's more so for you, that if you're in those moments where God just asks you to trust him, if you're in those seasons where he's not showing you the next step yet, there's a next step, but you don't know what the next step is, I just want to encourage you that he's probably not showing you so that you are completely resting in him right now. If he has you in a rest season, then rest, because the next season will come. If he has you in a season where you need to get rid of things and you need to say goodbye, then get rid of things and say goodbye, because he's making room for something new, and that something new is going to be amazing. If he has you in a season of planting, then plant, because what comes after planting? The harvest. So all of these different seasons that God has you in, he more than likely he's not going to show you the next step, but don't be discouraged, because you need to be in the moment fully of the season that you're in before he can then take you to the next season, because otherwise you're going to be rushing ahead and you're going to be thinking about the new season when he's not done with you in the current season that you're experiencing right now. So that's my encouragement for you today. If you would leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts, I would absolutely love it. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up. If you would subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. Look down below. You'll see the ways that you can get a hold of me, and you'll learn more information about the Jesus in the Everyday Mentorship. And if you think that this video would encourage your friends, then please share it with them as well. Have a great day. I'm so glad that you're here, and I will be back with you next Tuesday.